The problem with him is he's so public that you have to be very careful that the daily bulletins, and it's sort of rather seen that nobody totally believes us what we're saying, but we can only tell it as we see it. And luckily we got to Ascot, because I think half the world didn't even think he still existed. And we were happy with Ascot. I think we tried to explain what we were actually having to do there then. I was well aware he still hadn't got anywhere near to the sprinter of old of 2 years ago, when he was categorically unbeatable. And there was actually, we'd always got very wound up about it, and they were great days. But if you look back at it, he wasn't beatable. He was everything there was, and nobody's pretending he's got back to that yet. He hasn't, and he probably won't. But he got to Ascot in good shape. There was a lot of room for improvement. He got beaten, which was obviously sad, but I think we sort of half knew that was on the cards. He just got tired from actually having looked as if he would win, turning in. He just got tired, and they'd set him a serious search of a gallop. Not surprisingly, I mean, they set out to find out if he was fit, and they went at real pace. Now he's going to be match fit this time, so we're hopeful there. He came out of Ascot very well. It achieved what we wanted to achieve. It brought him on a lot, physically, hopefully mentally as well, and I think we're getting pretty close to the top of his game.
You say he might not be as good as he was a couple of years ago, but will he need to be as good as he was?
Well, there's the question, yeah. I mean, there was a big gap between him and the second best. If he's halfway between in that gap, then he's still going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe with Sada Gruges and Champagne Fevers and even Dodging Bullets, who beat him the other day, you know, is that going to be good enough? You'd be hopeful. He's big horse. He looks the sort of the three of them, he'd look the most immature, to be honest with you. He's big and scopy and still a bit on the narrow side, but he's obviously very talented. He'd make a chaser one day, but he's got the speed, he's got the tactical speed, and he hasn't a lot of experience, and that's why we were trying to do something rather unconventional to this horse at Cheltenham the last time, because I just needed him to switch off and get in behind some horses. You can't be trying to make the running in the Triumph Hurdle. If he gets the front in it, so be it, we'll have to let him be there. But it would be nice not to, and that's all we were trying to do that day. Then you got finished up with a very, very slowly run race, and that made it even harder for Barry to get him to switch off. But he did, and I like what he did. I thought he showed a good attitude. He had to come through a very narrow gap at the end, and for horse only having third run of his life, I like what I saw. Hargan's lovely. He's a flat-bred horse by Sindar, but he won well at Cheltenham earlier on in the year, and I think that's Cheltenham experience is handy, as it will be for Pease & Co. But Hargan was good there in soft ground, and we all felt that we'd like to see him on better ground, and took him to Musselburgh, and I was pleased we did, because the alternative would have been the Adonis at Kempton, which was in some pretty mucky ground on Saturday, and we kept out of that and went to Musselburgh for their Triumph Hurdle trial, and that was good ground. It always is up there. Good prize, good ground. Off we went, and he was very impressive. He was very clean, clinical, and professional. Musselburgh is cheese and chalk to Cheltenham, but I still like what I saw, and I think he's very realistic.
Since Chepstow, he's been absolutely fantastic. You know, like, he's come back good. He's been very sound. He's been eating good. And he seems, you know, like no tiredness in him or anything, like no lacklustre. He seems every bit as good as he normally is.
He seemed to be a pretty good run at Chepstow, and he jumped much better there, didn't he?
Did, yeah. You saw the normal side of Grugy that day, not like at Newbury, you know. But I knew that wasn't him. You know, the horse as well as you do, you know, it's just one of the things. You know, like a lot of horses could have an off day, can't they? And put in a bad round of jumping, and then come back and win next time, which he did, you know. So he's put that all behind him. It was just hopefully it's a one-off and it won't happen again.
I know he likes soft, but even so, with that weight, the Chepstow performance pretty good.
Yeah, you know, it was a very good performance. Yeah. You know, highly delighted with him, the way he done it and everything. Couldn't have been more pleased.
Just explain what he had, what kept him off for so long.
In November, he got an injury to his hip, and then he got an infection in his hock, which set him back even more. And then after that, he came back from Newbury with an underrun corn, which we had to put shoes on the night before he went to Chepstow, and just a catalogue of disasters, you know. But finally, we've got it right.
And it looks like Jamie's always trying to just keep a little bit more of him. He wants to go on, doesn't he? The horse just wants to keep going.
Yeah, I hope and think he's been riding long enough to make sure he doesn't get there too soon on him.
Yeah. Will you try and do the same again this year to try and hold him up?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no point in changing anything that you know, making anything different to what he's done before.
Main dangers this year?
Yeah, the main dangers have got to be dodging bullets, sprinter sacra, champagne fever. I think they're the only three.
And just what would it mean to you and the family and the Prestons, of course, who own him?
It's, you know, you want to achieve things in your career, don't you? You know, so you know, like, so you prove that you've done something, and it would mean everything to me, because Jamie told me to buy the horse, and Jamie rides it. You know, it's a big thing to the family.
Well, he seems in very, very good form. Well, he is in very good form. You know, we could be happier, same as we were last year. And you know, we just want a bit more luck than we had last year, and maybe we can win it. Last year, it was almost brought down, the fact that he lost so many lengths. And you were talking on the gallops today, saying he probably lost 7 or 8 lengths in that manoeuvre. Managed to find another gear, come back again, and only lost by 3. I mean, that is part of jump racing, but it's mighty unlucky. What were your thoughts at the time, if you can relay them to us now? Well, no, obviously we were absolutely gutted at the time. But, you know, very happy that we had him back in one piece. Well, it doesn't happen for others.
The fact that he's still very young leads you through to the fact that he can probably come back and do it all again this season, and hopefully with a bit more better luck.
Yeah, very much so. You know, I hope he can, and you know, that's what it's all about.
There's races like the Champion Hurdle with the likes of Faheen, Hurricane Fly, Jet Ski. Does that make the festival even more exciting? Do you look forward to those races even more, knowing that the opposition is really tough, really the best?
I think you'd rather the opposition was was rubbish, but it does make you more determined to win anyway.
He seems to have this reputation for not being a great jumper over his hurdles, but that's really not true, is it? He's made one mistake when jumping the last when he got beat, but apart from that, he can't help being almost brought down, and he flies over them.
He's a good jumper, you know. The jumping isn't the problem.
Haydock, the ground. What were your immediate thoughts after the race? You were still happy that he was able to win?
Still very happy, because he wasn't enjoying the ground. He wasn't travelling like he normally does, but when he had to, he grit his teeth and went away from the other horse nicely.
And what did Sam say after the race? Did he echo your thoughts on that? That he thought everything was still right on cue for the festival?
No, he was happy enough. You know, it turned out to be a good horse, the second horse, so it wasn't a problem.